Hey everyone! Today's task to solve is the Fiscal Code. Each person in Italy has unique identifying ID code issued by the National Tax Office after the birth registration, the Fiscal Code. Given an object containing the personal data of a person, name, surname, gender, and date of birth, return the 11 code characters as a string following these steps. Generate 3 capital letters from the surname, generate 3 capital letters from the name, and generate 2 numbers, 1 letter and 2 numbers from the date of birth and gender. Code letters must be uppercase. Date of birth is given in date, month, year format. The conversion table for month is already in the starting code. Y is not a vowel. As usual, we have an example of what would be the right results if the function is written correctly. After we have read the whole task, we need to understand what can be simplified, what are the most frequently repeated conditions, and how this can be applied. Have you noticed how many conditions with vowels and consonants, calculation, additions, comparisons will be? It will be great if firstly we write separate function that will separate consonants from vowels and vice versa. That will be applicable for both surname and name. Let's start with a function that will separate the consonants and will accept one argument as a string. We will transfer that string into uppercase, since our fiscal code will be all in uppercase. Next, we will replace all vowels with emptiness using the replace method and regular expression. Now, we need to write function that will separate vowels. It will be very similar to the previous function, except the regular expression. In this case, we will replace everything that is not a vowel with emptiness. Great! Now we have 2 pure functions that will help us write our main code and make it more readable. Let's see what other functions can be written that are called more than once. It will make our code even more readable. Based on this task, the first 3 characters of the fiscal code are formed from the surname. The next 2 characters are formed from the name. And the calculation of this code are very similar, which will help us write one function that will be calculated for both surname and name. If we follow the first 2 points related to surname and name step by step, then we'll have too many if-else, which unfortunately will not give us readability. But as a professionals, we need to understand that there are things that will not change. First of all, regardless of the condition, we have to get 3 characters, no more, no less. Secondly, consonants always are first. They are followed by vowels. Based on what we have discussed, we can write a rather original function. We will take our input string to find all consonants and then we add the vowels. And we get a string that starts with consonants and ends with vowels. You may have a question right away. What about the length? If the condition says that the length of the code should be 3 characters, in order to fix a string that is longer than 3 characters, we can call the slice method and simply cut off anything that is longer than 3 characters. But what if the string is less than 3 characters? In this case, the condition of the task tells us that we must fill the missing numbers of characters with an X, but we don't know which length of string will come to our function. We will add 3x to our string at the end anyway. And if the string is greater than or equal to 3, then x will be sliced. But if less than 3 characters, the x will fill the missing characters. It's time to start writing our main functions. Let's take a look at the conversion table of months. In order to convert the table into a format that will be convenient, it's worth thinking which of the options will be the best for us, since this table can be converted into JSON format, into an array, or just into a string. The simplest and the most correct method will be if we convert everything into a string. And here's the important point. Did you notice that there is a space at the beginning of our string? Months start from 1 and end with 12, but the index of arrays or strings starts with 0. In order to take a correct value, we add a space at the beginning, so that the first month corresponds to the first index. After we figure out the months, it's time to split our date of birth into day, month, and year. This is necessary to form the last 5 values of the fiscal code in future. In order to do this, we use the split method and immediately set the name of each element in the array to the corresponding name. You may have noticed that when we were splitting the date of birth, we used the name of the DOB key from the object that was passed to our function. We can completely pass the entire object and refer to this key, or from the very beginning we will destruct our object and directly access the key. Now let's add our functions that we prepared earlier so we can start writing our generating codes. The next steps are straightforward as in the description of the task. Let's start with the surname. Everything is linear here. We just call the get code with the surname string as the first argument. Generation of name is identical unless the length of consonants is more than 3 characters. In this case, we need all the consonants of the name. We will call the getC function with the name string as a first argument. If the length of the consonants is more than 3, then we will refer to the first, third, and fourth character for all consonants. Otherwise, getCode will be called with the name string as a first argument. The last calculation will be generated from 2 numbers, 1 letter, and 2 numbers from date of birth and gender. Firstly, we take 2 last characters of the year, and for this we will use the slice method. Then we will add the month code to it. For this we will insert the months, and as an index we will insert the current month. For the last 2 digits, we immediately set a condition based on gender, and if it's male, then we simply return the value given, but making sure that the length of this date always consists of 2 characters. And for this, we will use the padStart method. But if it's female, then we will simply increase the date value by 40. We now have 2 variables, surname code, name code, and date of birth code. And to complete our task, we will add them together and return our fiscal code. Our function is ready. This was one of many options for solving this task. Look it carefully. If you do not understand any of these methods, make sure to look at ECMAScript 6 or higher documentation, so that you can fully understand, write and read the code correctly, but not just copying it. After checking some tests, we can see that the goal was achieved. And that's it. Thanks for watching and solving this task together. If you like it and want to see more of these kind of videos, please click the like button and don't forget to subscribe. See you soon!